I'm interested in the psychology of behavior and how we treat each other, and I'm interested from an embittered standpoint because I choose to be open with people and I get jerked around a lot, and all I can do is maintain good faith and let it repeat. I described the particular pattern I experience in another video, and it doesn't yet have a name because I'm not influential in discourse. Maybe it's mugginsing. It's a lot like what I'm about to describe, but I think it's more specific, as the mugginser provides the ignition with sincere superlatives. I found something quite similar on pop psychology websites, something not yet widely described, but quite specific and recognizable in contemporary culture, especially within an online dating perspective, and it's called breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is the act of maintaining a connection only in sporadic tidbits, nutritionally worthless scraps, the ghost's occasional signs of life, to keep them hanging. Each crumb can be really comforting in theory, get you all cardioid-eyed because it suggests there's a full loaf of connection, but how small, low effort and unmaintained the morsel was makes it hurt worse than plain consistent absence would have. This ends up as an intermittent reward cycle, which I made a song about. We used to call it stringing along, but this snacky metaphor really suits because it's minuscule. Breadcrumbing is generally described in the regard of romantic connections, and I think that's a needless narrowing of the scope because plenty of interactions go this way, but I see how it's most relevant to describe those who maintain a romantic prospect they're currently unable to nourish. So they send out a crumb of false hope, but it wasn't willingly and sincere. The whole construct of hope is there to unconsciously exploit with how well you mean it. Some of the Urban Dictionary entries are less relevant. I think it's worth highlighting the similarities with gambling and gamified culture, where the concept that you could win big is maintained with intermittent micro wins. It also aptly describes the user experience of dating apps. Breadcrumbing is apparently also known as Hansel and Greteling, based on the well-known fairy tale in which these abused children drop a path of breadcrumbs to help find their way back. And it's snaffled up by critters. This fable teaches the important moral that food isn't a good navigation device. It's also a plot point you could easily cut without impairing the story. Like, the function of breadcrumbs in this story has nothing in common with breadcrumbing. It's just a famous story that involves breadcrumbs. Applying the name Hansel and Gretel to this situation was nonsensical, but a really human temptation because they're the breadcrumb kids. So this is a lazy folk etymology. It's got around because it sounds like it works, and those who have repeated the phrase haven't thought about it enough, like could care less or Caucasian. The kids drop breadcrumbs, but they're not breadcrumbing anyone. It was a failed attempt at self-preservation. Their aggressors are their stepmother and the witch, each of whom get up to some misbehavior I'd hope isn't widespread enough to have pop psychology write-ups. This blog about the behaviors made a strange decision to try and justify the name. I just thought it's interesting what happened linguistically here, that a name was applied because it seems to fit, but it doesn't fit. We're gonna see this kind of thing happen when things are named. You'll notice it all around you now, like the Bader Meinhof militia. I call it Hansel and Greteling. Anyway, breadcrumbing's worth talking about, just without involving a story that doesn't involve it. I've squeezed it into a song too! Not the bit about it being misnamed. Let's be aware of this widespread behavior without ruining it with a faulty reference name.